Welcome to the Visual Distortion movie review show with me, Jeccles69. On today's show we will be reviewing the Oscar-nominated film American Sniper.
Let me ask you a question, Chris. Would you be surprised if I told you that the Navy has credited you with over 160 kills? Do you ever think that you might have seen things or done some things over there that you wish you hadn't?
Oh, that's not me, no.
What's not you?
I don't tell you enough, I'm so proud of you. You're such a great father.
So you're not worried about what might happen?
I'm willing to meet my creator and answer for every shot that I took.
Don't pick it up. Drop it.
So what, are you in Germany or where?
I'm stateside.
You're home? What are you doing?
I guess I just needed a minute. The thing that haunts me are all the guys that I couldn't save.
Hey! Tend to my daughter, please, right now!
I'm ready.
Oh, my God!
I'm ready to come home.
Directed by Clint Eastwood and starring Bradley Cooper as Chris Kyle, Kyle Gallner as Goat Winston, Keir O'Donnell as Jeff Kyle, Kevin Lax as Dorber, Jake McDorman as Biggles, Corey Hardrick as Dee Dandridge, Eric Layden as Squirrel, Case, Sienna Miller as Taya, Zach Duhame as the Contractor, and Mido Hamada as the Butcher. As soon as this film came out and you heard everything around the film, the fact that it is based on a true story about Chris Kyle, a guy from Texas who went out to Afghanistan and fought in the war against terrorism, and his struggles with trying to stay integrated with normal society and humanity and raise a family and children whilst doing 4 tours out in Iraq, killing young children who were trying to bomb them, along with other people that are trying to kill them, and the Iraqi civilians who are on the fence or could be insurgents or terrorists themselves. So it's trying to show how this guy tried to keep the balance and not go completely overboard with all the violence, with all the blood and gore and crimes that he saw out in Iraq for the freedom of their country, whilst going back to America to try and integrate with his family and get to know his children that are being born, and to remain in contact with his wife, something that at the beginning of the film they take as something that should be easy to do and simple to do, and as it progresses they realise that this is harder and harder. And in the film he has a family, he has 2 children, and he has his missus, and you hardly see them, you just see her break down in kind of a quick fashion. But then again, you're not following them, you're following the Chris Kyle character, and he misses all of it. That's the point, that he's missed his children being born, basically, and he's missed them grow up, and he's missed his missus being pregnant, You know, all of this has just flown by whilst he's been out in Iraq doing his job, defending the country and looking after his teammates and the people that he fights with. You know, they feel more like a family, and Iraq feels more like a home to him, and Afghanistan feels more like a home to him than his actual country, because of the amount of time he spent over there and the memories he's built, where his wife has been building a family memories, something that they touch on in the film. They also touch on a few other bits during the film, like how they train their army, and you see how they quickly adapt to their surroundings, the noises that are going on, the different things that you have to look out for, the details that you have to really know what you're looking for. They go into this and you see it, and then when he's back in America and he hears these noises or these clicks or these things that they've trained to be listening out for that might save their lives, you know, he's still reacting to it, he's still responding to it, because he can't just switch it off. He can't be a soldier one moment and a family man the next. The news reports in the background as well, if you listen to them, there's a bit of the hyped up, sensualized propaganda that you might find on any Fox News program ever. That's mainly what's playing in the background for the news reports on the war, and also the statistics that keep coming up about what the Afghans and Iraqs have done to them and how many of theirs have died and all this. It shows the slight manipulation and brainwashing that people say that the media do in America and obviously around the world. So it really touches on a lot of bases about this guy's life, about his family, his dad whilst he was growing up, his brothers, but he misses all of this, and his main goal is in the war. And now obviously it's filmed, so you've got to have a protagonist in there, you've got to have the main big bad guy, and for him it's the Butcher. So the Butcher is someone that goes around selling the guns and creating war crimes. He's just the warlord figure of the peace, and they go out after him. Obviously this is what the film is touching upon and goes into, but it is about the true life of Chris Kyle, who was unfortunately shot down by one of the war veterans that he was trying to help. And now that would have been a great part of the film to really have gone into a little bit more in depth at the end, rather than having it at the end. You know, have a bit more involved with after the war, like when he was helping the veterans, that little bit more. Yeah, they show it and they go into it and they mention it, but they don't show details about it. They don't make it as big a thing as it was for the guy, because this helped him to integrate back into society and to connect with his wife and kids, and to start to speak to friends and to feel needed again, rather than being left out to pasture. You know, this was his key back into civilization, and they don't show it enough. They do make a big deal out of it, but it's kind of like looking at the Mona Lisa and going, meh. That's how it kind of feels, because it's crammed in right at the end, which is the shame. But the pieces that they do show out in Afghan and Iraq are incredible. The details of it, the barren places. I mean, Clint Eastwood is a very good director, and he has worked in films for 50, 60 years, something like that. You know, he's always been involved with films since about, 1960s, I think he's been involved, maybe a bit earlier. So Clint Eastwood knows what he's doing when it comes to directing, and he has a very clear vision of what he wants, and he does this perfectly in the film. There's no shots in there you think are a little bit too long, there's nothing in there you think doesn't need to be in there. He doesn't try and glamorize stuff, he keeps it very gritty, very real, and you can see this in the tone of the film. It's very dark, muted tones which lend to the dark and mutedness, and you know, you've got this film that really grips you and stays with you, but it's one of those films that you can't really talk about, and the dark mutedness represents that in the film, the mutedness of the brown, even when he's back in America where it's primarily greens and blue skies that you see, and all these different colours in the shops and out on the streets, even they are muted. You know, he sees life through a haze, pretty much. And the acting in it, I've got to say, is pretty spot on. I'm not a huge Bradley Cooper fan. I find him a little bit flat for some reason. I don't see why, because I don't mind the films he's in, but when I find out he's in them, I'm not really too bothered to go out and see them. You know, like I've seen the Silver Lining Playbook or whatever it is. That one's a good film, with Bradley Cooper as the main character. The A-Team, that's a good film, yet again with Bradley Cooper in it. You've got American Hustle, fantastic film, Bradley Cooper's in it, but for some reason there's just something about him. I think it might be his voice. It might not be deep enough, it might not be gritty enough, and he just kind of comes off a bit flat in his dialogue, personally. But he is good in this film. He's definitely acting as this bloke when actors get a chance to actually be somebody who was alive and recently alive. They can really get into the part and do the research and actually get to know their mannerisms, see how they speak, the way they held themselves, and Bradley Cooper definitely went into there with this. He wasn't just acting a part, he was definitely acting as this bloke, and he pulls it off brilliantly, and none of the other actors or bits in it, no matter how big or small within the film, let it down once. So this is a 4 out of 5 film, and I definitely see it winning a fair few Oscars this year. Thanks very much for watching Visual Distortion Movie Review Show with me, Jeccles69, for American Sniper. Remember to check out the rest of my channel and share and subscribe. Until next time, take care and keep smiling.
This is the Jeccles69 channel, where interesting shit happens every day. So remember to subscribe and comment to our channel for interesting shit to do with the world of technology. Hits on Twitter, film reviews, my life with Android, and Kickstarter. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe and comment. And until next time, keep your shit interesting.